Good morning, guys. So it is a little bit of a cloudy day. It's been raining a little bit this morning. Rained quite a bit last night. So this is going to be part 2 of my shed build, and I'm going to go over what I did to fix the slab. As you can see behind me, it's pretty nice looking. So the main focus on this video, or this part, is going to be getting the main support beam put in right here, and then getting this wall built that's going to be supporting the carport roof. So that's what's going to be happening in this episode. Thank you for watching. Thanks for tuning in, and let's get to work. All right, so if you remember in the last video, I had quite a hard time getting cement mixed and getting it in place and getting it leveled out. But as you can see now, this slab is done. I did this a few days ago now. It's been about 4 days, I think. And basically what I did, well, I have a video that I did when I was actually doing it, so I'll play that video now. Okay. This is basically what I'm doing to fix the slab. This will most likely end up being an insert in the next video. Basically what I did was I raised the form about 1/2 inch all the way around, and then I just got straight concrete, no aggregate whatsoever, just Portland cement, and I filled it. So now I'm in the process of finishing everything, but this is basically how I'm fixing the mess up that I did. Now back to the video. So like I said in the video, what I did to fix this, and you can see that now I have a relatively smooth top. There is a low spot right here. You can see some water right there, but that's fine. Otherwise, pretty much the rest of the slab's all leveled out. I did use a brush on it, to finish it off. You can see where I used the edger here. So you have the smooth part here, and then over on this side. So it ended up turning out pretty good, actually. I think I ended up adding probably another inch or so of concrete, and yeah, everything looks good. So the next thing I'm going to be working on is this outlet, which is, I just have it sitting up here, but it was mounted on the pole or the post that was here. So I'm going to disconnect that wire, and I'm going to pull it through back up. I don't know if you can see above there, but the wire just runs down right there. And then, so I'm just going to pull it up above this beam, and then this wire will actually get run into the shed, and then that's where I'm going to get my power in the shed for lights and outlet. So that is what I'm going to do now. All right, so I have this pulled apart. Basically what I'm going to do is just disconnect these wires on either side and the ground. And I'm going to pull it through here, pull it up through the piece of wood, and then out the top. That'll be just to get it out of the way so that I can build this wall. And then, of course, you want to shut off power for this. I had a little trouble because my circuit breakers were not properly labeled. There wasn't one labeled specifically for this outlet out here, so I found it eventually. The easiest way is just have something plugged into it and keep checking it, and once it doesn't work anymore, then you know the power's off. All right. Okay, so now that's pulled out, and I'm basically going to just wire that back up because I am using this plug while I'm working. All right, so the next step, now that I have that plug wire pulled out of this beam, is I have this bracket, and this is for a 4x6, and basically the way that this works is you drill a hole into the concrete. You use these anchors, these type of anchors. There's other types, but this is probably one of the best ones, main ones that most people use for concrete. So basically what happens is you drill a hole, you hammer this down in, and there's a little clasp there on the bottom. So as you start to draw the nut down, it pulls the screw up and then locks it into place. So that's basically going to lock this in. The 4x6 will go in here, and this is made up to where you could put bolts through. So if this is going to be an exterior pole, you know, like for a porch or house or something like that, then you would put these bolts through. But since this is actually going to be behind a wall, I'm going to use the nail holes, which is what all these little holes are here on both sides. So the beam will get nailed in. And then, so what I'm going to do now is basically I'm going to use my beam. I'm going to place it in here. I'm going to cut it just so it fits right now. And then I'm going to place it in here. I'm going to level it both ways so that it's perfectly straight up and down. That way I can mark where the base is going to sit at, because I don't think it's going to be right at the corner because this was a little bit out both ways. So I have to find out where the right spot is. I'll mark it, then I'll drill the hole, and then we'll mount the bracket. All right, so this pole is in place, and if you look here, perfectly level that way. You look here, perfectly level that way. So right now this pole is pretty much in place where it's going to go. And then you see where the beam sits on the concrete here. So basically I'm just going to mark that out, and then that will give me my location where I'm going to put this. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to mark the center on this side, the center on this side, the center on that side. And basically I'll create an X from that, and then that'll give me my drill location. And then this actually has some movement in it. And then there's a plate that goes over top, and then the anchor goes through that. So that's how it'll work. All right, so I have my X marked here, and then I have my anchors here. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm getting ready to drill, and these anchors are 4 3/4 inches long. So I basically put a piece of tape on my drill bit that's right at 4 inches. So this top part is probably 3/4 of an inch, and I may end up going, if I do the 4 inches here straight, then once I put it through here, I'm going to lose a little bit with the spacer and everything. So 4 inches should be more than enough depth for this to interact. And what happens is when you start to tighten this bolt down, this piece down here locks against that piece, and then that's what anchors this in. So I'm going to go ahead and start drilling and get to it.
Now I want to vacuum all this up.
All right, holes drilled, it's vacuumed out. The way that this works is you want to slip everything on here that's going to be on here, and you screw this nut on so it's just flush with the top here, because you're going to be tapping this with a hammer to get it in there. And then see how it's somewhat of a snug fit, that's what you want. So put this down, and actually you're putting this in because you want it to stop when it gets to this level. So that way it's not totally snug, and then as you start tightening this nut down, then it's going to snug everything up. So I'm going to try to center this on the marks that I have. And and it shouldn't require a whole lot of force putting this in. It should go in firm. It's kind of weird hammering that way. That's pretty much all the way down. Let me loosen this a little so I can reposition this. Again, like I said, get it centered. Once it's in place, snug it with a ratchet. And there you go. So now that thing is totally tight. This piece will go on top. And then that is what the 4x4 is going to sit on. Or 4x6, sorry. All right, so my post is in. These are my brackets that I'm going to be using on the top. They basically go on like this. And then there's nails that go all around into both sides, and then there's one for this side, one for that side. So I'm going to get that nailed in, and I'm going to get the bottom nailed in. Once everything is secure, then I can start taking all of this down. All right, so you can see 6 nails on that side, 6 nails on this side. I got just about all the nails in here. This one's a little tight to get to. And then on this side, I didn't get all of them because this beam is in the way, so I'll pick those up as soon as I remove this beam. All right, so this beam is in place. I finished putting in all the nails on the top, cleaned everything up. It's nice to see this open and get that temporary bracing out of the way. That was been there for the last couple of weeks, so nice to have that out of the way. So the next step is going to be framing up this wall that is going to be going from this beam down to the slab. And the other thing that I am going to try to complete in this video is cutting down the rot off of these beams, adding a fascia board and uninstalling and reinstalling the gutter. You can see down there it's actually broken and falling off. So that's another thing that I'm going to try to get done in this video. We'll see how it goes. All right, so I'm going to get ready to start doing the framing for this wall. And basically coming from this beam to this corner is about 161 inches. And then my overall height is going to be 82.5 for the wall. Now I'm also going to be putting in a door right here, so I will space that off. Let me get my top and bottom beams cut, and then we will start doing the mark. All right, I have my top and bottom beams cut, and they're basically right against the beam over here. They come down to the end there. So what I'm going to do now is mark out where my vertical 2x4s will go. I'm going to be putting a 36-inch door in here, so the rough opening has to be 38.25. So I will probably start with my first beam, 16-inch on center, and then I'll do my door, and then I'll continue from there. All right, so here's my markings. This will be my first beam. This will be a double beam 2x4 because this is where my door opening will be. There will be another double beam here, 16, 16, 16, 16, 16. And on the end here, this is the 16-inch mark coming from that direction, but I want to put the beam here. So there will be the end beam here and then another beam here. And the reason for that is because when the 3.5-inch wall is put up here, actually, yeah, it'll probably end up being right here. I'll have to measure it again. But basically what it is when you put your 3.5-inch wall up going this way, you want to have a beam here so that if you put drywall or paneling or whatever on the inside, you have something to screw into. Because if you're over here and you're trying to drill onto this wall, then there's nothing to drill into on the end piece. So you want to have that one spaced off. All right, so now I'm getting ready to cut my vertical pieces. I need to subtract. These two boards come out to 3 3/16, and my vertical to that beam down to the slab is 82.5. All right, so there's my 82.5. I subtract 3 3/16, and I come out with 79 5/16. So I'm going to need 12 of those at that length. Well, you can see how fast the weather changes around here. This morning when I was started, it was raining, cloudy. Now it's not a total blue sky, but it's, you know, sunny and dry, so which is good. I mean, I could have totally done the framing in the rain. It wouldn't have really mattered that much, but it's nice to not work in the rain. So I have all of my vertical pieces cut. So now I'm going to get ready to lay everything out and then screw it all together. This would be a good time to have a air nailer. I don't have one of those, so I'm going to be putting this all together with screws. I am not a professional framer, so if you are and you're watching this, don't criticize me too bad. And this is just a shed. I know if you're framing a wall, you want to look at the crowns of the wood and everything, make sure it's all going the same direction, but like I said, this is the shed. All right. So this is all framed up. My door will be here. Once this is up, this will get cut out, this bottom piece. And the top piece may actually get cut out as well, just because my rough opening, I think, needs to be 82 inches. And this is only 82.5. So that'll probably get cut out too. All right, so I got to put the Sil Gasket on here. And then we can raise this up. Right, so this is the Sil Gasket. And basically all this is just thin foam. And this gets stapled along the bottom beam. And it basically just isolates the frame from the concrete, just to help everything last longer, nothing rots, and keep moisture away from it. All right, so the way that you apply this stuff is it's the same size as the 2x4, which is 3.5 inches. And basically you just staple it right onto the bottom, and you don't need to go crazy with the staples. You just need enough to hold it in place, because once this is up, the frame, the wall is going to be sitting on it, so it's not like it's going to go anywhere. All right, I'm ready to raise up this wall. Hopefully it goes smoothly. It'll be a little tricky because I'm going underneath the existing beam and it's going to be a tight fit. So I have a pry bar there to help me, and the little finesser there, the 8-pound sledge, so should go in good. Let's see. All right, so check that out. It's in place. Still needs to be secured, of course. So basically all I'm going to be doing is screwing up into that main beam, and then I will be drilling some holes here and adding in some concrete anchors, the same as I did for the post holder. All right, so everything is secured. I have basically, I have a screw going up in each bay to the beam on top. Mine is this one because this is where the door is. That's probably gonna get cut out. I have anchor bolts going in here, either side of the door, and then down there at the end. I did try to do this in the last bay, and you can see right here where I had a pretty bad mix of concrete. So I will repair this, and I also did it kind of closer here. The ones that I anchored in good, I put on the inside of the beam basically, just so it wasn't so close to the edge. So this wall for now is pretty much done. All right, so this is pretty much what I came up with. A lot of these boards are rotted, as you can see, as you saw in other videos. So I basically found the one that was rotted the furthest back, and that's where I got this line from. And then I made it the same across all these. So this is basically just about 7 inches out, 4 inches down, and then this is 2 1/4 inches here just to get a good angle. So it'll be no water will sit on there, no moisture, because that's the problem with these beams are just exposed, and over time they just rot away. There's not much really that you can do. You can put a piece of metal flashing over it and that will protect it, but just being exposed to the elements like that, it's gonna rot out. So as you can see, this beam here, which is a 2x4, is holding up the edge of the roof. And then the roof itself, you can see, is very rusted. So all of that's going to get cut off. And what I'm going to do, rather than adding another 2x4 up here, I'm going to get a 2x6, which is what this board is. This is just a cutoff. And it's going to become my fascia. So it will go, if you can see that, it'll basically get screwed into the end of this board, of the main beam of the carport, and then that will support the roof above. And then this will get cut back to just, I don't know, an inch, inch and a half past this, similar to what this is. And then the rain gutters will reattach to this fascia board. All right, guys, so I'm gonna end this video here just because it's getting kind of long, and we will pick right back up on part 3 with where we are. And basically that is going to be starting to take care of these beams, getting that fascia board, cutting the roof, getting the gutter reinstalled. So made quite a bit of progress, and I'm pretty happy with it. I was really stoked to get this wall put in just to support the garage, you know, and get it off of that temporary brace. So that was pretty awesome. These videos hopefully will be coming pretty quickly because I want to finish this shed this month so that I can get rid of the container so I don't have to make another payment on it. I made a payment at the beginning of this month. Next month I don't want to make another payment, so I want to get rid of it. So like I said, these videos should be coming fairly quickly, at least once a week, possibly more. Just depends on how much I can get done, and to get this thing roughed in and then dried in to the point where I can move stuff out of the container into here. All right. So again, thanks for watching. Thanks for following along. Please subscribe and like if you don't already. I would really appreciate that so I can build up my channel. And I will see you guys on the next episode. Aloha.